Do you want to keep your online privacy and security? Well, if so, you're going to need a VPN. And in this video, I'm going to be reviewing the Tuxler VPN service and break down the good, the bad, and everything else that it has to offer. Now, before I start my review, I just want to say that I've linked to Tuxler VPN down in the description, and with that, I'll include any promotions or discount codes I find to save you some money if you use that link. So first, I want to break down what makes Tuxler different compared to other VPN services. Now, on the software here, you can see that you can pick between a data center VPN or you can use a residential VPN. Now, the differences are that at a data center, your IP is more likely to be flagged as a VPN, whereas if you use a residential VPN, your IP will now show as another home address, similar to what you're using when you don't have a VPN installed at all. This means that websites are less likely to identify you as a VPN user and more likely to identify you as a normal user using a normal internet connection. Now, when using a residential VPN, you do get slower speeds compared to a data center VPN, and that's pretty normal. And the reason is because data centers, you could have big servers with high internet speeds and maybe it's split between less users. Whereas with a residential VPN, the internet speeds are much lower and therefore your speeds when connecting to it are also going to be much slower. So first off, I want to do a speed test without the VPN enabled, just to get a grasp of what my speeds are, and then I'm going to test it with the VPN on and using both the data center version and the residential version. So if I press go here, it's going to give me my ping, my download, and my upload speed. So my ping has come in at 2 milliseconds, my download speed is around 800, and let's see what upload speed I get after this. And here you can see on speedtest.net that I'm getting 830 megabytes down, 1020 up, and then my ping is 2 milliseconds. Now I'm going to test the same thing with the data center version enabled, and then I'm going to test it with the residential enabled. So first I'm going to connect to a London-based VPN, which will be closest to me, and then I'm going to see what speeds I'm getting. So I've now connected to the VPN on the data center version, and as you can see, my ISP is showing up as DigitalOcean LLC, which is a big data center and they host a lot of servers. So if any website was looking at my connection, they'd see that I'm using a VPN currently. Now I'm going to test the speeds to see what I'm getting with this version. So if I go to speedtest.net and press go, we should get the speeds. So my speed test result came back and I'm still getting 72 megabytes down, which is pretty good. And I'm getting 18 megabytes up, which is a big drop off compared to my normal connection. But my ping is still relatively low at only 6 milliseconds. Now I'm going to try the same thing for the residential and then we're going to compare the speeds. So for the residential VPN, I've decided to use one in France as the ones in UK were not the fastest and they were giving me really slow speeds. So for this French one, as you can see, it shows my ISP is now Bouygues Telecom, and it's no longer saying that this was a network sharing device, which is what it was showing on the previous one for the data center VPN. So if I go to speed test now and test my speeds, I'll get my ping, my download, and my upload. So as you can see, the speed test is complete. And my speeds have dropped a lot compared to my normal connection and the data center VPN version. So I'm now getting a download speed of 4.89 megabytes per second, and I'm getting a 9 meg upload speed. My ping has gone from 2 milliseconds all the way up to 268. But you do have to remember that you're connecting through a residential IP and you're not using a data center. So you will get much lower speeds and this should be expected, but you are getting the benefit of not being blocked by any websites. No one can see that you're actually using a VPN and you'll be able to surf the internet or browse with no issues, but you may have some issues if you were, for example, trying to stream on Netflix or use some other video streaming services, then I'd recommend using a data center VPN. So when it comes to extra features, I have to say that Tuxler is extremely basic. You can pick basically whichever country you want, and then whichever city, but other than that there aren't many other options such as a kill switch which you might see in other VPNs. You can choose to pick between a data center and a residential, VPN, and then you are allowed an unlimited amount of bandwidth per day, and then 100 location changes per day. So you can't constantly cycle your location, but you are allowed 100 different changes per day. So that sums up all the features of Tuxler VPN. Overall, I would say it is a decent VPN service since it is offering something unique, which is a residential VPN, whereas most other VPNs are based in a data center and your IP will be flagged. So some websites might block you, some websites might not let you use their services, but with Tuxler, you can bypass all of that. I have to say the speeds are much slower than other VPN services. But for the data center version, the speeds aren't on par, but they're pretty decent, and you can get by with using them for streaming services or any other use you have for them. So that sums up the video. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please leave a like, and if you're new here, hit that subscribe button.